show you guys today is called Marie Luisa, and this is, as you can see, a very, very chunky gold fleck nail polish. The flecks in this are not entirely opaque, so they are more of a translucent color. People do seem to use this more as a top coat, and now as I'm swatching this, I probably should have done that. But it's a very, very chunky, like true gold flake in a clear base. As you can see in the first coat, it's not entirely opaque, or it doesn't have like a color base to it. So yeah, that is the first coat of Marie Luisa. I should have done a base coat for this. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's what it looks like on its own. Okay, so I did on my other two fingers a coat of black nail polish and then a coat of Marie Luisa on top so you guys can see what it looks like. It's a really beautiful topper. I'm not going to do multiple coats on the black base, but I will do multiple coats over here so you guys can see what it looks like on its own. This is the second coat of Marie Luisa on my index finger, and it does build up pretty well. You can see that because it does give a little bit of coverage with the gold. It definitely gives more of like a sparkled effect versus a fully opaque effect. But yeah, that is two coats of Marie Luisa. I don't think I'm gonna do 3 coats because this is I think it really is meant to be a topper. But you can get it opaque. It does tend to get thick though because of the base. The base is definitely a little bit on the thicker side of translucent bases, so that's why I wouldn't do a 3rd coat either. But I wanted to show you guys what it looks like over black as well so you guys could see. So I'm actually going to destash this polish. I haven't worn this since I purchased it. I purchased it when it first came out, swatched it, and then I never ended up wearing it. And I kind of do regret that, but at the same time, I don't. Like, there hasn't been a time where I thought I needed to pull this out and couldn't find it, or I just like wish I had worn it. I just don't regret not wearing it, so I am going to destash this. This polish is called Kerry, and this is a bright sort of sunshine yellow glass fleck shimmer. This came out, I believe, again in the Sunshine collection, and it is so pretty. It is one of my favorite yellows, and I wouldn't call it a gold because it just really is that like daisy yellow color. It's much less rich looking than a gold is, and this is definitely one of my most specifically yellow polishes that have a shimmer in it. So yeah, that is the first coat of Kerry. I'm gonna go now with the second coat of Kerry, and this brings a little bit more color opacity to it, but it brings a lot more shimmer to it. You could even see in that first coat that it was actually quite opaque with shimmer, not necessarily color. So that second coat definitely adds a ton of really dense yellow glass fleck shimmer, to the point where I definitely don't need a second coat. I love the way this sparkles as well. I really actually like that this is just a bunch of yellow glass fleck shimmer packed into almost an entirely clear base. That is just kind of the coolest little finish on the nail. It's almost foily, but it's a little bit chunkier than a foil, and it's very pretty. So that is 2 coats of Kerry. So this polish I am going to keep. This is one of my favorite, actually, like one of my very few surviving yellows in my polish collection. So this one is going to stay in my stash. This polish is called Apple. This was also from the Sunshine collection, and it is my favorite from the Sunshine collection. This is very much a Granny Smith apple green shimmer in a slightly more like sour candy green colored base. You can see the base is pretty sheer, but again, there's a ton of that beautiful shimmer running through it. So yeah, that is the first coat of Apple. I'm gonna go now with the second coat of Apple, and this adds quite a bit of, again, shimmer opacity versus color opacity. You can see how much shimmer that adds to the nail. So yeah, I'm gonna keep the swatch at 2 coats, but it applies super, super easy, just like most of the glass flecks from Zoya, and it just sparkles so beautifully on the nail. Again, I think they do the best glass flecks, and I think if you are someone looking for something super shimmery and sparkly, you're gonna have to look at Zoya first because they have some of the prettiest colors. So this polish I am gonna keep. It's sort of a no-brainer keep for me. It's so pretty and one of my favorite green colors. This next color is called Midori, and this actually means green in Japanese. But this is, again, sort of like that sour candy apple green color with a gold shimmer running through it, but it's not a glass fleck. The color base is actually more or less opaque versus a transparent or like jelly type of base, and the shimmer is very, very fine in it. The polish actually goes on pretty well in that first coat. This is an older polish. This is one of the first Zoya polishes that I purchased, again after seeing it on Scrangy. Somebody commented 2 videos ago saying this series should just be called Scrangy Made Me Buy It, and that's 1000% true. Like it really is Scrangy Made Me Buy It. So yeah, that's the first coat. This is an older formula again, and it's surprising that this is on the thicker side of formulas. It's not super thin like some early Zoya polish formulas were. So yeah, that is 2 coats of, or that's the first coat of Midori, and you can see that the green base comes out pretty well and the shimmer is there as well. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Midori, and this adds full opacity to the color. The base gets a little bit brighter, a little bit more saturated, and the shimmer comes out really, really well. And you can see that full opacity definitely adds quite a bit of like heft to the green, so it's got a lot more, I don't want to say like bulk because it's not a bulky nail polish, but it just gives it a little bit more of a rich finish on the nail. So that's 2 coats of Midori. Since this is such a beautiful color for spring and summer, I'm going to see if I wear it this spring and summer enough to justify keeping it. So it's kind of one of those on the hook polishes. I'm going to go in now with the next color. This is called Ivanka. This was from the Sparkle collection, which was my favorite Zoya collection. This is the green, and it is beautiful. I'm going to tell you right now that I am going to keep this, but yeah, I'll swatch it for you guys anyway. This is the first coat of Ivanka, and it goes on as sort of that mermaidy, under the sea sort of mermaid's tail type of green color with a beautiful shimmer running through it. So yeah, that's the first coat of Ivanka. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Ivanka, and it gives full opacity in the second coat, and the shimmer comes out much better as well. I will tell you this right now, that these polishes, although amazing in this lighting and amazing in sunlight, if you ever have the chance, go underwater and look at your nails. It's just like a whole different experience. They sparkle so beautifully in like a pool or like at the beach. If you have like really clear water at the beach, they're just amazing. They sparkle like no other, and they're my favorite polishes. So yeah, that's 2 coats of Ivanka. So this is Ivanka. Again, I am going to keep it. Not very much to say about it besides the fact that I love the color. I think it's so pretty. It's got the most emerald, beautiful, jewel, sparkly tone to it. And yeah, it's one of my favorite greens as well, and I'm going to keep it. So this polish is called Verushka. This is a matte velvet. Again, this is one of the first matte velvets I ever purchased in that first release. And this is a very velvety green color, very, very rich, very, I want to say like regal, one of those colors that would look amazing in like medieval clothing, one of those types of greens. So that's the first coat. You can see it actually goes on pretty opaque, and it actually dries down very quickly as well. I said this about the last matte velvet, that these are some of the best polishes to go put on like right before you leave because they dry very quickly and they're pretty much no fuss. So yeah, that's the first coat of Verushka. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Verushka, and this gets the polish. I keep trying to say color and polish at the same time. I end up with like Colin or pollen. Anyway, so I'm going to go in with the second coat of Verushka, and it's fully opaque in 2 coats, and that green definitely gets much more rich, and you get a little bit more shimmer against that darker base. This is definitely another one of those polishes that's just so glorious when you wear it. You can wear it with a top coat as well, and the shimmer comes out much nicer. I personally like it as a matte, but yeah, that is 2 coats of Verushka. So this polish I'm also going to keep. It's, again, one of my favorite greens. Zoya does green very, very well, as you can tell from this video. So yeah, this is going to stay in my stash. This next polish is called Rikki, and this was from a recent collection that actually had half of their colors were this sort of pale foily color, and then half of their colors were creams. This polish, to be honest, I have kept for a very frivolous reason. There's this show called H2O, which is an Australian show about mermaids, and my favorite character from that show is named Rikki, so hence I have kept this nail polish for no real good reason aside from the fact that I liked that character and I like the color green. The polish is actually really nice. It applies really nicely. You can see how evenly it applies and how much opacity it does have, especially with that shimmer again. The shimmer does come out a little bit more on the silvery side of things versus in the bottle it looks more like sort of like a field green. If you guys go to any sort of forest or glen or just like meadow, it's that sort of green color that comes out in right before springtime. Like that's what the grass looks like, which is such a very specific color, but that's what the green in the bottle looks like. On the nail, it definitely comes out a little bit more silvery. So that is the first coat of Rikki. I'm going to go now with the second coat of Rikki, and this gets the polish fully opaque. Again, that sort of silvery side of things comes out much stronger than you would think in the bottle. It does get a little bit more green when you do that second coat, but it's definitely more of a green tinted foil on the nail. So that's 2 coats of Rikki. So this polish I am going to destash. Again, I kept it for a really, really lame reason. Although it is a really beautiful polish and it applies really easily. I just haven't used it as much as I would like to. And again, I kept it because of a mermaid. So yeah, that is Rikki, and it's going to get destashed. So this polish is called Yarra. This is in army green with a really bright gold glass fleck running through it as well. The base is definitely a cream, so this one has that glass fleck that sort of sits into the cream versus looks like it's like part of the polish, if you guys can get what I'm saying. With the other sparkly colors that I've showed you today, they look like they're more integrated into the polish versus with those cream bases with the glass flecks, they look always a little bit more like they're just sitting inside of them. With the first coat, it actually applies pretty well. It applies really evenly. It has a little bit of a thinner formula like the older Zoyas do. This is an older Zoya. So yeah, that is the first coat of Yarra. I'm going to go now with the second coat of Yarra, and this gets the polish fully opaque. With these polishes that have the cream with the glass fleck in it, that first coat of shimmer definitely gets lost. So the shimmer that you get is in that final coat, which isn't necessarily bad. Like there is quite a bit of decent shimmer pickup in this polish. I just feel like the cream and shimmer combo is not my favorite thing. So yeah, that is 2 coats of Yarra. So this is one of those colors that's like super chic and really, really nice for fall. I actually have a second army green to show you in a second, like right after this. So I am going to decide which one I want to keep after I swatch the next polish. So that is Yarra. So this polish is called Gemma, and this is the other army green that I wanted to show you, and look at how pretty that is. This is a slightly lighter army green base, but it has a really, really bright bluish purple flash running through it. This is pretty opaque in the first coat. It's not entirely opaque, so I will have to do 2 coats, but that bright blue shimmer comes out really nicely. So yeah, that is the first coat of Gemma. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Gemma, and this gets the polish fully opaque, but it adds a little bit of brightness to the polish. I feel like the green gets a little bit more saturated with that second coat, and the shimmer comes out really, really nicely. Again, it's really easy to apply, and it's really definitely a unique polish in my collection because of the combination of that bright shimmer and this sort of neutralized green color. So that is 2 coats of Gemma. So this polish I am going to keep. This is the one that I think I will use more, especially because of that flash. It makes it a little bit more unique. So I am going to destash Yarra. This last polish today is called Edyta, and this actually came out with a collection of shimmers like this, like darker shimmers, that were all named after Dancing with the Stars pros. I think that's where Kim came from last week. This is a really, really smoky base with a really bold shimmer running through it to make it look sort of greenish. The base definitely is like that indigo, it's almost like an indigo navy blue, as you can see, or maybe you can't see, but there's a lot of really earthy tone shimmer in there to make it look like a really smoky dark greenish color. So that is the first coat of Edyta, and you can see that it actually applies really well. It has a really good color coverage, especially with that shimmer again that I've been featuring a lot in these polishes, just because a lot of my Zoya collection is glass flex. So that is the first coat of Edyta. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Edyta, which gets the polish fully opaque and also adds a lot of shimmer. I feel like with that darker base, the shimmer stands out really, really twinkly like, sort of like stars, but yeah, it's just so gorgeous, and this is a really, really nice dark color because instead of just being black, it offers an alternative for people that like darker colors that don't just want creams. So that is 2 coats of Edyta. So this polish is another sort of iffy color. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I'm going to see if I wear it a lot, especially the rest of winter and in fall, this coming fall. So yeah, we'll see if I keep it by the end of the year, but it is definitely very pretty and a really beautiful darker color. So that is this week's video. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, if you could give it a thumbs up, that would totally make my day. Otherwise, I hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you guys soon.